Good day and welcome to this Corporate Access. I'm Dewald Rademeyer. Today we are talking about expanding operations in other parts of Africa by means of explosion. Expansion enables opportunity for a healthy local partnerships, employment, training, long-term growth and ultimately investment opportunities, especially in the mining sector, which is where explosion has a role to play. XAfrica is the third largest explosive supplier in the world, and I'm now joined by the captain of the African arm, Francisco Boudouin, CEO of XAfrica. Francisco, welcome. Give me a bit of an understanding of XAfrica.
Thank you, Debal. So NIX is a Chilean company, right? And the Chilean company, NIX Group, is finally the third largest explosive company in the world. XAfrica is a joint venture that we have with Sasol. So Sasol decided to divest the explosive business and look for an international partner, right? So that's how the opportunity came. But what we do is basically we produce explosive, we do the blasting in the mines. So our main customers are mining companies, and we do it with two focuses. One, putting safety first in everything that, what we do. That is very important. And secondly, we have a purpose, which is to humanize mining. Humanize mining counts for two reasons. One, because mining can be unsafe, so we want to take the people out of the ground, and that's why we are creating teleoperations. We are the first company in the world, in our industry, the first explosive company in the world that is doing teleoperations now. It's in the present, it's not the future. And secondly, because the conditions of life working in a mine are very tough. So that's why we want to humanize mining as well.
Now, I understand you already, like you said, you're already operating within Sasol. You're operating in other parts of Africa as well. Explain to me what's the driving force behind this kind of expansion? Well,
first of all, we defined strategically that we wanted to be in Africa as part of our growth of NIX. So NIX in the last 10 years have really become a global company. And Africa was defined as a very important continent, mining continent with growth potential, and South Africa particularly like the gateway to get into the continent. So in 2017, Sasol did a review of all their assets, and one of the things that they saw is that the explosive business had a great growth potential that could be unlocked partnering with an international company. And they did a tender process. So since 2017 until 2019, we were in a process doing negotiations. In 2019, NIX was selected as a preferred partner. We signed the deal, and we started operations in July 2020 as XAfrica. The shareholding today is 51% NIX, 23% Sasol, this is a continued part of the joint venture, and 26% our BBB partner, which is Afris.
Now, that's your driving force. What's your reason for this kind of expansion plan, and also the value you like to create for the continent?
Yeah, so as Sasol saw growth potential, we also saw a lot of growth potential for our business, our core business of explosive in the region. And when we decided to invest here, we did it with a very long-term view, but also understanding that we wanted to become the leaders of the continent, not just another player. And that's really the reason of the expansion. So when we acquired the company, or when we started the joint venture, Sasol had operations in South Africa, in Namibia and Lesotho. Now we have opened already NIX Botswana, so we are operating in Botswana. And also we are starting operations in Zambia. What we did in Botswana, it's interesting, is first we partnered with local people. So we did a joint venture there. We are doing the same in Zambia. So the partnership is something that we have as part of our strategy of growth. We understand that local knowledge is important to be combined with our expertise and our global expertise. The other thing is important is, for example, Botswana. You see Botswana is a much smaller market compared to South Africa. South Africa, we have a market of 1 million tons of explosive per year. Botswana is probably 100,000 per year. But a lot of foreign investment is happening. So there are new projects, new investments, and then there's growth. In the case of South Africa, you will see that the investments that are done in mining are basically investments on current operations. So the big mining houses will invest to extend the life of a mine, but we don't see greenfield projects. So the explosive market in South Africa is very flat, but in Botswana, in Zambia, we are seeing growth. For example, in Zambia, President of Zambia has said they have a target to produce 3 million tons of copper by 2030. Today they produce 1 million. So of course you will need a lot of explosive to do that. Chile is the first copper producer of the world. We produce 7 million tons of copper per year.
That's very good though. But these kind of investment approaches, these long-term investment approaches, do carry some kind of a benefit to these African regions. What are those benefits?
Well, I think it's important to highlight that this investment is the most important direct Chilean investment in South Africa and probably in the continent. And we are part of Sigdo Copper's group, which is a Chilean conglomerate, which is a very well known to have a very long-term investment approach. So when we decided to enter into the continent, we really did it with this view of a long-term approach, with a growth appetite, because it's part of our DNA. And at this stage, I can say that we have already done substantial investments in South Africa. So in Secunda, we have our main explosive facilities. We have invested there to increase the production capacity by 20%, increase the storage capacity by 50%. Also, and very important, we have now an electronic initiation system plant. You know, the electronic initiation system is the electronic detonator. We acquire a subsidiary in France. So in France, NAX produces all this product, this technological product, the electronic detonator. But now since October, we are producing it in South Africa as well. That's a very important investment. And that is going to give us a lot of reliability of supply of this product for the market, for the Southern Africa. But also it's a key investment for NAX Group, because finally it's the second plant and it's the first one outside France. So this will be a backup, if needed, to export to Australia if needed. And also it's important because with this we are going to increase our local procurement. And that is very aligned with our strategy as well of increasing our scorecard in terms of BBBE. So we are going to increase our preferential procurement as well.
Earlier you touched on partnering with local communities. These kind of investments, when you start operating, you also now said in Secunda, it does have an impact on the local community itself. You also have a CSR strategy in this. Could you expand how does this include in your CSR?
Okay. So of course, as we have invested in growth, we have created jobs, and then we are impacting positively the economy and the communities. Our strategy in terms of community, I would say it's separated or in 3 pillars. You know, first, in every place where we operate, so where we have a productive plant, Rustenburg, for example, we produce ANFO. We look after the communities where we operate. But then it's very important, 60% of our people work in our customer sites. So if we are in a mine in the Northern Cape, the customer has to engage with the community related to their site. And we work together with our customer in order to be able to collaborate and look after the communities of our customers as well. And a third pillar that we have is what I call going beyond CSR. We want to focus in education. We understand that early childhood development is key for any kid and for every country, and particularly in South Africa, I think education is a real challenge. So we have defined to invest in early childhood education and do it in places that are not really today with any kind of support of big mining houses. So we have identified some small towns, that are far away from any industrial zone. We are already investing in the Steelport area in Limpopo. Early childhood development is a pre-primary school of 90 kids. It's inside a primary school, so we want to impact then the primary school. And we have had some conversations to have programs from high school online. We really believe that we can change life of people through time. We want these kids someday to be professionals. Because we will be behind, probably they would like to be mining engineers, and maybe someday they can work for us. That will be a nice dream. Other thing that we have been doing very importantly is looking after our people. So we have developed also our young professionals. We have promoted more than 100 people only this year, out of the 1,300 people that we are in XAfrica. And we have put a lot of focus in the development of the people and in women. Today we have the first regional sales manager in the industry. She's a female, 29 years old. And I think that's very nice. We really want to take the lead in terms of the gender equality. It's a challenge because in the mining industry, it's very well known to have much more men than women.
It's much more of a boys' club thing.
Yeah. But these things are changing. I was in the University of Pretoria a couple of weeks ago presenting the company, and I could see there was not 80-20 as in the past. You can see 60-40 in the mining engineers students, 40% women. So I think that is nice. And finally, in terms of CSR, it's important to say that as we grow, we are going to be growing and expanding to new areas, and we will be engaging with new communities because we will be operating in new customer sites, because we are going to be eventually producing a product in other places, and also because this Beyond CSR initiative is not only for South Africa, will be growing in the continent as we expand as well with that.
Well, we're excited to take this journey with you now, and we're going to keep an eye on this journey going forward. Francisco, thank you for taking time to speak to us about XAfrica, to give us a better understanding as to who you are and your role in the mining sector in Africa. That was Francisco Boudran, CEO of XAfrica, who joined me today. And until next time, goodbye.